Yeah, yeah, yay, hear ye, hear ye. I don't think that was a good intro. What's up? I tried something new. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that's more like it. How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday, hump day. This is the day that the players are getting signed to the practice squad. So the Niners came in and they had their 53-man roster signed yesterday or finalized yesterday. And today it was practice squad madness. A lot of players, they're rushing to the waiver wire to make sure they can claim people. We signed a lineman today as well. We're going to talk all about that. But, the practice squad hasn't been finalized yet. Not everybody there yet, but they've got a few players. We'll talk about it. What's up? Senior Hyphy, let's go. One more week. So we stay tuned in. What's good? Raphael, what's up? Nia Perez, what's good? Raphael says, we're glad Jason Poe is back. I'm so excited that Jason Poe is back. John V, what's good? Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good afternoon. It is time to talk about some more Niner news. There we go. Hit that like button on the way in. Jason Poe was a refreshing bonus today. I agree. We're going to get into that. Jason Elvis, what's up? This is my first live on this channel. Looking forward to it. What's up, Jason? Appreciate you. Let's get into it. So today the practice squad, of course, was made. And again, they're still not finalized, but there was some good news, right? So let's go over all the news of the day. So I'm just going to go one by one and kind of go through all the news. We'll talk about it because there's a lot of news today. And instead of just, going through every, trying to remember them, I'm going to go through every post. So let me pull up the posts and we'll go. So top of the morning, we wake up and Nate Sudfeld was signed by the Lions per Rap Sheet. So Nate Sudfeld, I'm happy for the guy. Nice backup quarterback. Obviously, the Niners went with Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo as their backups. And Nate Sudfeld, he deserves to get a backup quarterback job. He's a solid quarterback. The Niners, they don't have to pay him the fully guaranteed $2 million. I think through the process of everything, initially, I thought it was going to offset the $2 million guaranteed, but we're off the hook for $1 million. So we pay him $1 million. The Lions pay him the other $1 million. So we get a little bit of money back. Nate Sudfeld finds a home. I think the Lions is a good spot for him. Jared Goff's not the greatest quarterback, and if he gets hurt or if something happens, I think Nate Sudfeld might get a shot to, put his foot in the door and stuff. So shout out to Nate Sudfeld. I'm happy that he got a job somewhere. And that's the one thing with these guys. If they don't play for the Niners, hopefully they land on their feet somewhere. And, it's good news for Nate Sudfeld. So, what's up, Ray? Don't have to pedal you for stickers. Exactly. Let's do it, man. Yo, Raj, was Olubi resigned to the practice squad? Not yet. He hasn't been signed yet, but I'm guessing that he will be. Again, we're going to break these down one by one. So, again, Nate Sudfeld signed to the Lions. That was good news for him. And then right after that news came Jimmy Garoppolo's restructured contract. The details kind of came out from Field Yates. They said that he said that Jimmy Garoppolo's renegotiated contract with the 49ers carries a cap charge of 13.9 million. So it's $13.9 million basically. The move clears 12.9. You could round it up to about $13 million in cap space for the 49ers. They were at the bottom of the NFL cap space prior to the move. Now they're top 5. Roughly, I haven't done the exact numbers, but they're between like 21 and $23 million. So that was a big contract restructure with Jimmy Garoppolo. So it gives them a little bit of flexibility this year. If there's an injury or an emergency, they can bring someone in and in the middle of the season. So it's good for them. Gives them a little bit more flexibility. Jimmy Garoppolo took a huge, pay cut. We've talked about this in nausea over the last couple of days, but it's nice to know that the numbers. So we got about $13 million cleared in cap space this year. That's a massive pay cut. So that was pretty good news to wake up to as well. And now we're getting to the big news of the day, the waiver wires, the practice squad. So the 49ers, we couldn't keep everybody on the roster that we saw, we wanted to. Jacksonville Jaguars, they claimed JaMycal Hasty. This is a big move for JaMycal Hasty. He goes to the Jaguars. I think it's a good move for JaMycal. Obviously we knew he was going to land on his feet somewhere. We talked about this yesterday, and I said I don't know if JaMycal's going to clear the waivers. And this tells me that Jordan Mason wouldn't have cleared waivers. So they went with Jordan Mason, the younger guy, the cheaper guy, undrafted guy, and a guy that has a lot of potential. Jermichael Hasty was an undrafted guy himself. He moved his way up the pecking order. You know, Kyle loved him, but at the same time, Kyle gave him the opportunity to shine in the preseason, and he put out that tape out there, and now he has an opportunity to go to Jacksonville and do something there. And this is what we talked about last night. If you were on the late night live, I said, hey, look, the 49ers always give their players opportunities to get a job, whether it's with the team, the Niners, or somebody else. Jermichael Hasty put his best foot forward, and he goes to the Jaguars. So he's had a solid preseason. If he can stay healthy, he's not a bad running back, right? So maybe Jacksonville, a new clean slate for him, a new fresh start. I think it'll be good for Hasty. And one thing is, Jermichael even said, last week he told reporters, he goes, look, whether I'm with the Niners or not, I know I'm going to play this season. So this was good news for Jermichael Hasty. He did clear, and he did get signed up by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another player from the Niners that did get claimed from another team. This one was a little surprising. Washington Commanders, they claimed Tariq Castro Fields, 6th-round pick. I thought we were going to keep him on the practice squad. I really thought that Tariq Castro Fields would have stayed on the practice squad. And this is kind of a hit because we drafted this guy. You drafted him with the 6th-round pick, and you were hoping that he can stay with the team and develop. But that just tells us our secondary is pretty stacked. It's pretty deep. I like Tariq, but he's very raw. He still needs to develop. But he goes to a team right away. Tariq Castro Fields goes to the Washington Commanders, rookie out of Penn State. I wish we would have been able to keep Tariq. We did have a very solid cornerback, rotation. You have Ambry Thomas, you have Diamador Lenore. Those are your backup depth guys. You got Sam Womack, you got Charvarius Ward, and Emmanuel Mosley. It's a very good, cornerback room. And Tariq Castro Fields wasn't ahead of any of those guys. So hopefully we were trying to get him back on the practice squad. But, unfortunately, we didn't get him on the practice squad. So, and right after that news broke, boom, the 49ers claimed former Browns offensive lineman Blake Hance. Okay, so Blake Hance, he gives us some roster depth. I think this was a big move. He could play tackle. He could play guard. He's a big boy. He's bounced around the league. He's an undrafted free agent, but it doesn't matter. The Niners sign people, and then they give him another start, and they could turn people into something. We needed depth on the O-line. This guy could play guard. He could play tackle. He started 8 games for the Browns last year. So I think this was a solid move for the Niners. They added a guy in Blake Hance that gives them absolute need. They fills an absolute need. You know what I mean? This guy was a need. I don't know if he's going to be great or not, but we need depth at lineman. And again, one of the things we've talked about over the last couple of weeks is O-line, right? So they claimed this guy, Blake Hance. So let's pull up his resume. He's 6'6", 310 pounds. He entered the NFL in 2019 as an undrafted rookie from Northwestern College. He's been with the Buffalo Bills, Washington, Jacksonville, New York Jets, and Cleveland during his time in the NFL. So he's kind of bounced around. He hasn't found a home, but he did appear in all 17 games with the Browns last year, and he made his first 8 starts of his NFL career. He saw action in 10 games. He played 2 games at left tackle and 8 games at right tackle. So he could play that tackle spot. And what do we talk about? Mike McGlinchey is dealing with injuries, right? What's up, Peter Parker? So, yeah, Mike McGlinchey's dealing with injuries. Colton McKivitz, not sure if he's going to be that guy we need, right? We don't know how good Colton McKivitz can be. Jalen Moore, he's been dealing with the leg injury. Dan Brunskill, he's got a hamstring issue. Will we be able to have a strong tackle? I don't know. But Blake Hance adds depth there. At the end of the day, depth is a good thing. If he doesn't pan out, at least you tried, to bolster that guy. So this is nice. They get depth, and maybe this guy could come in and perform for us. So the one thing that we have to notice is, so they claimed him off a waiver. So that doesn't mean he just goes to the practice squad or anything. They claimed him. This means he's probably going to be on the active roster. So with that said, they might have to actually take someone off and move him. I know they're going to put Jimmy Ward and Curtis Robinson on the injured reserve, but they're already planning on bringing Jordan Willis and Tyler Kroft back to the roster. So now we need to see who are they going to move around to make space for this guy. So this is something we need to keep an eye on for sure. So it is nice that we brought in some depth to the team. We definitely needed depth at offensive line. I mean, this was a spot that we're all concerned about, So let's see. Always good to add solid offensive linemen. Yeah. Ruthless, what's up? OJ Howard is available. Why didn't we pick up Leatherwood? Obviously, it sounds to me like they're looking for certain specific characteristics. The Niners have a certain type of guy they like to bring in, character guys, and maybe Leatherwood doesn't fit that mold right now, or it could also be money. It could be a money issue. That's the way I look at it. Is this guy right here, Blake Hance, he doesn't really, you know, scream at you like, oh my God, this guy's an elite talent. So you could probably get him for cheap and develop him. The Niners, they like to get those bargain bin guys. They like to shop at the 99-cent store sometimes and find some gems. I think that's what they want to do. They don't want to go in and make this massive, big time name signing. Sometimes the Niners don't care about a brand name. They really don't give a shit if they have a brand name. They don't. They're not going to go buy Nikes. They're going to go buy the New Balance and lean within, rock with it. They're going to go get the guy that other people probably don't, that fits their system. That's what the Niners do. They get guys that fit what they want. Just because we all want Alex Leatherwood because we see the name, we're like, oh my God, this guy's great. Kyle Shanahan don't give a shit what you guys think. He really doesn't. He doesn't care what I think. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He doesn't care. He wants to get guys that fits his system. And maybe this guy fits his system. So moving forward, there was more news on the day. They just kept rolling. Right after that, they brought back undrafted cornerback Quantrez Knight to the practice squad. I was very happy about this. I like Quantrez, big Q, nice little player, out of UCLA, undrafted. I love his talent. I love his skill set, and I was happy that he cleared and we brought him back. This was a guy I was really hoping to get back to the practice squad. He flashed a lot this offseason, and I was happy that he was able to stay. I know we lost Tariq Castro Fields, but I was hoping to get at least one of them, and we got Quantrez Knight back. This was clutch. This guy's nice. They brought back Tay Martin, wide receiver, to the practice squad. He's a nice little playmaker. I think that's a good wide receiver to kind of stash, develop, quick. He's got a little quickness to him. They can maybe put him in special teams down the line. So I like that. They brought back Willie Snead to the practice squad, veteran Willie Snead for Tom Pelissero. I was shocked that Willie Snead brought back to the team. I was shocked that Willie Snead was brought back to this team. I did not see him coming back to the team after he fumbled the ball, and he missed that touchdown, not fumble, but he fumbled the catch, and he didn't catch that touchdown at the end of that game the other day. I was like, there's no way this man makes the practice squad. They brought him back, but it's veteran presence. Maybe they like his veteran leadership, want to keep him in the locker room. And sometimes that veteran mentality can go a long way. So I was so shocked at Willie Snead. 49ers throwback, what's up? He says, Blake Hance is a solid signing. He has pass block, better at guard. That's his strength. Yeah, he's a solid signing. Again, offensive line depth is never a bad thing. You can never go wrong on signing line depth, right? I think, again, you at least see how he does. He comes into this team, and maybe he pans out. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows? But it's nice to know that we got some solid, at least we got depth. The guy, we can at least throw him out there, and if he becomes something, it's a W, right? It's something that's a low risk. It could be a high reward. If he sucks, it is what it is. So what's up, Slasher Gamer? 49ers throwback. He's not good at tackle. Guard is his best spot. Yeah, but the problem is they need a tackle. So I don't even think he plays guard. But that is good. Let's talk about this. So Hance, I know he's better at guard, so that gives him flexibility. Kyle Shanahan's all about versatility right on his line. So maybe if there's an issue at guard, you can put this guy in at guard. But they need him to play tackle. So even if he's not good at tackle, he needs to figure it out. And that's the thing. Leatherwood, I don't think he was that good at tackle either. I think he was better at guard too. So then you go back at it, you look at the money, the figures, the dollars and cents, and it's Kyle Shanahan's scheme, right? They need a guy that is quick and that's fast and that can play in that zone blocking scheme. So hopefully he can fit in Shanahan's scheme. But right now he's just depth until he needs to actually play a game. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens, right? So after that, Willie Snead, we talked about that. They brought back Tashawn Gibson to the practice squad. I was a little shocked about this one. I didn't think they were going to keep him around. But again, it's veteran that gets back to the team. So Willie Snead and Tashawn Gibson, two veterans in the league that you can add, to the locker room. And with Jimmy Ward's injury, it does make sense to bring back a veteran, in the clubhouse, a safety that maybe you can pull up and plug and play down the line. So Tashawn Gibson, I wasn't surprised, but I was kind of like, well, I didn't expect him to be back on the team. So they brought back Marcelino McCrary, ball to the practice squad, linebacker. He had a standout training camp, a standout preseason. I'm happy they brought back McCrary Ball. This is the future of the linebacker corps. This guy was great in coverage this offseason in the preseason games. This guy was a standout when I watched him at training camp. I'm so excited they brought back Marcelino McCrary Ball to the practice squad. He can continue to develop. I wasn't surprised. I knew that they'd bring him back. I know they liked him. I was just worried that he wasn't going to clear waivers because he was damn good this offseason. So very happy that we brought back Marcelino Ball. And even more happy, here it is. I was so happy when we announced this news. The 49ers are signing Jason Poe to the practice squad. Off-season standout, training camp standout, preseason standout. Jason Poe, this was great. I thought he was going to make the final roster. I know he had a little bit of a blunder against Houston. That last game wasn't his best game, but, I mean, he worked his ass off all off-season. Undrafted gem, kid out of a small school of Mercer. I think every Niner fan was very excited to see Jason Poe back. He worked his tail off, and, he really developed throughout the preseason and training camp. You could just see him get better and better and better throughout. So this was a very positive news today. This was probably the best news of the day, that Jason Poe, because everybody yesterday was kind of down that he didn't make the final roster. And I think the problem was I don't think any of us expected him to clear waivers because he did play good, right? He did play very well this offseason. So I thought he was going to get claimed by another team. But thankfully, Jason Poe was able to get signed back for the Niners. So definitely good news. I was happy about that. So yeah, I'm very excited about this news. This was probably the best news of the day. And then after that, they brought back safety Taylor Hawkins to the practice squad as well. This was a good move too. I like Taylor. He had a lot of good tape this offseason. He worked hard in the training camp sessions, and he made an interception one of the preseason games. So this guy was working hard. I think our practice squad is really good. We have a lot of guys that we were developing and that really stood out. We didn't really lose too many players. Again, we did lose Tariq Castro-Fields and JaMychal Hasty, but I expected us to lose JaMychal Hasty. I think the guy I didn't expect to lose was Tariq Castro-Fields. I thought they were going to claim him back, and that's a draft pick. You lose a draft pick, it kind of sucks. We lost a draft pick a couple years, tight end. We went to the Giants. So you don't like to lose draft picks at all, but sometimes you do. You have to be good enough to crack the roster. And again, I did think that he was going to at least revert back to the practice squad, but unfortunately, Tariq Castro-Fields didn't. And going back to Jason Poe, I know yesterday there was a lot of people are upset or a little sad, and I was a little sad that Jason Poe didn't make the final 53-man roster. But this is the team that develops undrafted players better than anybody. Azeez Al-Shahir, Emmanuel Mosley, right? Just to name a few. They are now key starters on this team. So I have no doubt in my mind that Jason Poe will be a starter at some point on, down the line on this team. He is a guy that I can see them plugging in the roster. They're going to develop him and make him a star. Nick Zakelj got the nod over Jason Poe, on that line. And I think that was a smart move because Nick Zakelj is a very smart guy. He processes things very quickly. He was a draft pick. He was a 6th-round draft pick. Again, another draft pick. You don't want to cut a draft pick and then hope that he has to clear waivers. Again, as much as we love Jason Poe, he was undrafted, so it works a little different there. You have a draft pick. You don't want to just cut all your draft picks and hope they come back to the practice squad. You would hope that your draft picks make it to the final roster. So Nick Zakelj, he also offers center and not just guard, but he can play center. And that versatility, I think, really paid off in the end for Zakelj. And at the end of the day, we all are having a happy day. It ended up in a happy ending. That the fact that Jason Poe made it back to the team on the practice squad, albeit it wasn't the final roster, but he did make it to the practice squad. So it is a nice thing. It is a nice thing. So 49ers throwback says, I want Malik Turner back. He's good on special teams. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't signed him yet. I want him back too. We did, that was one of the guys I was surprised with. Yesterday there was three guys. Me and Breezy talked about Jason Poe, Malik Turner, and Kamoko Toure. I was really surprised we didn't bring those guys back. But I really hope Malik Turner does come back because he does have good special teams availability. 49ers media says, do you think we pick up a running back for the practice squad? And any names in mind? Honestly, we have enough running backs on this team. But knowing Shanahan, knowing the way he runs his offense, I mean, if he throws in a running back, I wouldn't be surprised because he always likes to have depth. Sure, why not? I'm sure that he'd add another running back, but I don't know. You got enough running backs on this team right now, so it's not like it's a necessity. It's not a necessity. You got Jordan Mason, TDP, Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson. I don't think you need to bring back a practice squad. There's always going to be running backs that you can scour on the waiver wire down the line. I think they need to make sure they get enough cornerbacks. I think they need to make sure they get O-line depth, and they need to get, D linemen out there. I think Saguna Luby needs to come back to the practice squad. That's the guy I'm waiting for them to bring back. And I don't think Kamoko Toure is going to come back to this team. He said his farewell yesterday. He's probably fielding calls. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any news yet. But Kamoko Toure, I don't know. Did he sign anybody? Does anybody know? This is a guy I was hoping to come back. But right now, all signs are pointing to him not coming back. So Jason says, do you think that Hance will be better than McKivitz? Is McClinchy going to go week one? So that's a good question. I hope he's ready to rock and roll, McGlinchey, but I know he's going to have some issues with that knee throughout the season. I can almost bank on it, unfortunately. So Hance, he hasn't played on the team. We haven't seen him on the scheme. He's got to kind of get the playbook down. He's got to get the techniques down. I don't expect him to be better than McKivitz right away, as much as we hope that he would be, right? He's coming on to this team. He's a new guy. He's never played for the 49ers, so he has some stuff to learn. He's got to kind of get up to speed. They got to kind of show him the installments. He's got to gel with this team. Unfortunately, McKivitz is probably, well, not unfortunately, but I think McKivitz right now, obviously, he's been with the team for several years. He's further along than Hance is on the team. But if Hance comes in and he practices good and he looks impressive, and they'll have to kind of see how he does. They'll probably rotate him in here and there and see what he can look like. But I don't expect him to be better than McKivitz right away. He's a new player that's never been on the team, and he needs to make sure he knows all the installments. And Kyle doesn't just want to throw anybody out there. Just because they signed him doesn't, necessarily give him that spot like, oh, we signed you to be this backup. And McKivitz has been working. Although I don't really trust McKivitz at being in that spot, he's worked, hard on this team. He was a guard last year. They cut him, and he came back harder than ever this year. And I know the coaches love him. They're going to give him his shot to shine. But if McKivitz goes out there and he drops an egg, and he lays an egg, then, yeah, they're going to go and look at Hance and say, hey, look, it's your time to shine. So right now I think McKivitz has definitely earned his shot. But if he screws his shot, mom spaghetti, right? Eminem, you got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. If he misses his chance, then you go pull out the new shiny weapon you got. So McKivitz, my God, you never know it. I know I told you I wasn't too impressed. I said it before that game. Everybody's like, oh, McKivitz, what do you think? I was like, I don't know if he should play tackle. He played tackle at that Houston game, and whew, ugly. But I mean, nobody was really standing out on the O-line. But it was really the tackle spots because everybody was down on Aaron Banks. I got a lot of messages this week. Oh, Aaron Banks he's dog shit, and Spencer Burford, all he does is commit penalties. Burford's young. He's gonna make mistakes. Like, you just need to accept the fact that Spencer Burford's gonna make mistakes as a rookie. Like, a rookie alignment, that's what they're gonna do. And even Aaron Banks, he's gonna make mistakes. This is his first year on the line. They're gonna make mistakes. But if those tackles can't stand up and hold off the edge, everything collapses. If you collapse from the outside, you're gonna collapse internally. And those guys were getting pressured because the tackles couldn't hold their blocks. Colton McKivitz, Jalen Moore, they couldn't. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. I just hope they hold up better. I know Trent Williams is going to hold his side up. We know Trent Williams, but Trent Williams can't play every single spot on the line. God, I wish he could. I wish he could. Yeah, Trey. They're going to come headhunting for Trey, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. Media says he's better on the left side. I agree, but is he good enough to start on the left side? And that's the thing. You got a guy that's better on the left side, but on your left side, you have the best lineman in the NFL. So you're starting a guy that's not even as good where he could be on the line. So there you go. You got a guy, Colton McKivitz, who's better on the left side, but you ain't going to start him over Trent Williams just because he's better on the left side. He's never going to be as good as Trent Williams. You don't tell, yo, Trent, we're going to need to move you to right tackle today because Colton McKivitz is better on the left. Imagine that call. Imagine that call. Imagine that day. Can I be a fly on the wall for that one? Media says, can we just clone Trent? 100%, man. I wish every lineman was as good as Trent Williams, man. So, Senior Hyphy says, I'm ready for Trey to heat up the Windy City week 1 and quiet Fields. You know, Justin Fields is talking. He says he's going to make the Niners pay. He's going to make the Niners pay for passing up on him. That's what Darnell Mooney says, per Darnell Mooney. This was the report. It's floating around. We'll post it at some point as the week gets closer to game day. We'll throw the receipt out there. There's going to be a lot of noise on this game. There's going to be a lot of hype. There's going to be a lot of people sitting there saying Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. The winner of this is the better player. It's their first competition in the NFL. Maybe it's a good budding rivalry. You know, maybe it becomes a great rivalry in the NFL. I hope it does. I hope they both have good careers and it can be a rivalry. But this is their first game against each other. We got to take a chill pill. But it's going to be a fun matchup. But I know the hype is going to be crazy. The media is going to blow this out of proportion. They're going to say, oh, my God, the winner of this is the better quarterback, the guy that the Niners should have drafted. That's how it's going to go. That's exactly how it's going. I think that they're going to be throwing all this shade at Trey Lance, and they're going to say, oh, Justin Fields, he's ahead of Trey. You know, he's got a whole year playing quarterback and this and that. It's going to be a fun week seeing how the media reacts to this game. But, I mean, Justin Fields just needs to be quiet. He's a young quarterback, second year in the league. He hasn't really proven anything. He needs to be quiet. He needs to not talk trash because I know he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. I know he's a little cocky. He hasn't proven anything. You just need to be quiet because when you start saying this kind of stuff, bulletin board material, teams start remembering it. They save the receipt. They save that receipt in their pocket and they make you pay. Nick Bosa, if he sees this report, Fred Warner, if he sees this report, Justin Fields is going to have a tough day. It's going to be a tough day. We're going to be eating that bear meat all day. It's going to be amazing. But the Bears have a good, I wouldn't say a good, but an up and coming young team. They added some players. They lost Khalil Mack. That's tough, but they got some up and coming players. And I can't wait to talk to Bear Down in a week. So we talked to Bear Down last night on Instagram Live, and we set up next week. We're going to do a little preview show between the 49ers and the Bears, and we're going to talk about all their players, all their big acquisitions over the offseason, their new coaching staff, Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney, and we'll kind of chop it up. So I'm excited to kind of learn a little bit more about the Bears, and how it goes. So. Do you think the Niners need one more outside cornerback, and should we sign Eagles safety Harris? I think definitely we need a safety depth. I know we brought in Tashawn Gibson, but I don't know how much I can trust Tarvarius Moore coming into this season with he's rehabbing from the torn Achilles. George Odom is a special team player. I just can't see him playing meaningful minutes too many weeks. If George Odom has to be out there starting a lot, I don't know, man. He misses a lot of tackles. I don't feel like he's the best in coverage. I like Hufanga. We need Jimmy Ward. I think we definitely need to bring in a safety maybe. I know they got Dante Johnson. He's a reliable guy. He can play anywhere on the league, on the team. They'll probably bring him back at some point. I do like the fact they kept Taylor Hawkins out there on the practice squad, but he's still young. If we can get a quality starting safety to come in for a few weeks, I'm not opposed to it. Harris, Tart, somebody. We need somebody out there because I need an upgrade over George Odom and Tarvarius Moore. No disrespect to him, but Tarvarius Moore, he's been inconsistent coming back from the injury. You know, we don't know if he's 100% right now. And George Odom, he's a special teamer. He missed a lot of tackles in the preseason. You know what I mean? So, do I think we need an outside cornerback? I think we're really solid at cornerback. Honestly, this is the best I've felt about the cornerback room in a long time. I'm super excited about Charvarius Ward. This was my favorite signing of the offseason. You got Emmanuel Mosley in a contract season. You know he's coming for blood. Sam Womack, nickel corner. He showed he could play outside. He could play inside outside. You got Diamador Lenore. He could play inside outside. And then Ambry Thomas, he could play that outside spot. And then in 4 weeks, if he's healthy enough, you got the icing on the cake. You got Jason Verrett who can play outside. So I don't necessarily think we need an outside corner, but I do think we need an extra safety. Good question, Anthony. I think we definitely need some safety depth. That is a position of need. Raj says, "Hey, bro, how are you? Any luck with the Target sponsorship? Not yet. We are pushing towards our goal. This is a Target shirt. I know it's not a graphic shirt. It's a little V-neck, you know, but plain black tee. But we got it from Target. Shout out to Target. They always do me right. So let's keep working to get that Target sponsorship. Not yet. Not yet. What's up, Davis? Let's go. Tuck your chains in. Anyways, let's see. My man Media says he was live last night and people were calling you Raj. That's a big compliment to you, huh? What's up? Any questions or concerns? That's pretty much all the moves that we made for today. I'll take a few questions before we call it a short little day. We'll be back later. There wasn't too much news to get into, but I did want to kind of go over all the practice squad additions. So slime season. It's slime season, Davis. You know the vibe. Hey, Peter Parker says, what games are you going to this year? For sure, I'm going to the Raiders game. For sure, I'm going to the Dolphins game, the Miami Niners game. I'll be at that game. I'll be at the Raiders game. Those two for sure I have locked in, but I'm still working on everything else. So I'm not 100% sure on all the rest, but I'll be at the Miami game, and I will be at the Raiders game. And I can't wait for those ones. I can't wait. It's homecoming for me back in Vegas. It's going to be the first time back in Vegas since 2017. I haven't been back home in a long time. It's going to be good times. Home opener, maybe. We'll see. My man Davis says, Jason Poe, a.k.a. the doorstop. Ooh, I like that. I like it. Deb Topia says, was there practice today? Was Jimmy Garoppolo at practice with the team? This is a great question. There was no practice today. I think I read a tweet from Dave Lombardi that they would be back to practice tomorrow, Thursday, and Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to be there. Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to be at practice tomorrow. This is going to be Jimmy watch tomorrow. We're going to see what Jimmy's up to tomorrow. I'm excited to see Jimmy Garoppolo at practice. This is gonna be some must-see TV. The Niners are always must-see TV. They're always entertaining. There's always something. There's always a juicy, gossipy story. But from what I understand, tomorrow practice returns, and Jimmy Garoppolo is supposed to be at practice. He's not going to be on the side field anymore. He's going to be with the squad. I can't wait to see it. Hey, Peter Parker says, be safe out there in Vegas. Oh, yeah. That's all I am, safe. That's my hometown. They'll be taking good care of me out there, and I can't wait. Oh, Rocio says, what was Fields saying? I missed it. So, according to his wide receiver, Mooney, he says that Justin Fields told him that he's going to make the Niners pay for passing up on him. So, let's pull up let's see, Justin Fields. Let's pull it up. I'll pull it up. Let's see this article. So, yeah, Justin Fields reportedly still holds a grudge against the 49ers. That's what the article says. It says, here it says, so wide receiver Darnell Mooney, during a press conference, his recent press conference, he basically said that Justin Fields told him that he's going to make the 49ers pay for passing up on him. What do you guys think? What do you think about that? What do you guys think? Little receipt. It's receipt season, isn't it? Fields is salty. Am I going to do a preview stream for the Bears versus 49ers? Of course. We always going to do a preview every week before every game. We're going to do a preview. I'm going to have Bear Down Cuds with me next week, the biggest Chicago Bear fan I know, and we're going to be chopping it up live together and doing a preview of the Chicago Bears versus San Francisco 49ers next week. I'm going to, again, my idea for this year was to make sure I have a content creator for every team that we play. I'm going to try to get somebody and go live with them every week following up for a game. It may not even be a Niner pit, like a fan page of a team. Like I'm going to try to get the fan pages, but I'm going to try to just get somebody that's a fan of the team. Like I know people that are like Seahawks week. I know people that are fans of Seahawks that have big pages. It may not even be a like a fan page. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's going to be fun. Can you imagine if I get Ben Baller? Should I try to get Ben Baller live with me? That's what we need to do. What's up, Jamie? Appreciate you. It's almost Bear season. I can't wait. John says no Fields will be a gamer. I'm a Bucks fan. I know he's capable. He was good. Like, I can't hate on Justin Fields. I feel like I gotta kind of give Fields some respect because I was pumping up Justin Fields, right? I was pumping up Fields at 3, so I got to kind of check myself. I can't just sit here and be reckless on him. I do feel that's a receipt, and we need to make sure we talk about it and we hold him accountable. But at the same time, I was pumping up Justin Fields. I know everybody's going to sit here and call me out when we post about this game next week, and they're going to sit there and say, Rod, you said Fields at 3. I know I did. So I need to hold myself accountable. I can't be too harsh on the guy because I did like the guy coming out of college. I did think the Niners were going to take him. So I can't be too mean on the guy. I can't look like an idiot and say that I never hoped that the Niners were going to get him because I did. I was hoping it was going to be Trey Lance or Justin Fields, specifically Justin Fields. I didn't want Mac Jones, And if you look at all the news and then everything, maybe the reports of Kyle Shanahan wanting Mac Jones were true. That's what it kind of sounds like. Kyle Shanahan did say that a couple weeks ago on the I Am Athlete podcast, that it did really come down to Trey Lance and Mac Jones. So, we can go back to that draft all we want, but it's done. It's done. It's history now. And now the Niners have Trey Lance and the Bears have Justin Fields. So, at the end of the day, we can't change the history. So, Harris says, Fields was nice, but I was high on Trey. That was definitely one of the craziest draft seasons of all time. That was one of the craziest draft seasons of all time because I didn't expect the Niners to be going after a quarterback, right? All of a sudden, the massive trade. I remember that notification. I was like, what the hell just happened? They traded up to get the number 3 pick. I was like, oh my, I was like, what just happened? I remember that day was crazy. And then all of a sudden, we went from talking about a different position, for draft season to we're getting a quarterback. That's it. That was it. I remember the swaps. You had the Zach Wilson swaps, the Justin Fields, the Trey Lance. It was pandemonium. That was a crazy draft season. It was probably the craziest draft season I've ever been part of. There's been some crazy ones, but nothing quite like that. I was happy we got Trey Lance though, man. So. He thought it was fake when he signed. How many practice squad players do we need to sign still? That's a good question. How many did we sign? I haven't even counted them yet. Let me see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 confirmed. What do we got? 7 more to go? 7 more to go? So. Trade area. Let's see. 9 more. Media says 9 more. Is it 16? We get to keep 16 players this year? Yeah, I can't remember if it's 14 or 16. I know it's one of those. So if it's 16, we got 9 more to go. 9 more to go. Appreciate you, Niggy. We got 9 more to go. So it's 16 spots on the practice squad. That's right. They did open it up last year to go to 16. We have 7, so we got 9 more to go. I did the math for you. We did the math. We did it. 9. Appreciate you for keeping me honest. 9 more to go. I hope we get some news here soon. We'll come back live a little later when we get some more news. I'll probably recap everything again tonight. Stay tuned, stay locked in. We'll get the quad box a little later. And then let's see, I'll get maybe 2 more questions here for you. Senior says, do you see the Niners making any small trades? We rarely make trades. We rarely make trades. We don't. I mean, if it's beneficial and it's something that maybe can benefit them down the line, I think, yeah, the Niners are always open to upgrading the roster. And Kyle Shanahan says all the time, they're always open to upgrading the roster. But I don't think they necessarily like to make trades because they know they can draft people. They have compensatory picks. They can get late round picks. And they just like to develop through the practice squad and all their late round picks. That's what the Niners do. They get these undrafted players, they stack them up, they develop them. They don't worry about trades. The only times they need a trade is like, okay, we can trade you this guy for more draft picks or late round picks. You know what I mean? But they like to stack those undrafted players. But I have been saying this over the last few days and this is a good point. So, the Niners did save some money in cap space, right? Jimmy Garoppolo's contract restructure gave them some more cap space. Now they have money in case of an emergency. Break this bank in case of emergency. If they need to sign someone or if they need to trade for someone in the middle of the season, then I think they can use that money and they could trade for someone. A couple years back, and this was the point I was getting at, 2019, middle of the season, wide receivers were struggling. They needed to make a move. They went out and they got Emmanuel Sanders, and he was instant help for this team. He was an instant difference maker for this team. He helped this team get to the Super Bowl. He was a big-time veteran presence. Now, under that circumstance, if the Niners have a position of need and they're struggling and there's somebody out there, they're like, we can go and get them. Yeah, they'll make a little trade. They'll get some draft picks or they'll use their draft picks or whatever they got to do. And they'll use the money they save to, do what they got to do. Or they could trade Jimmy at midseason. Like they can trade Jimmy at midseason. So, that's it. That's it. Anyways, that's it for the day. For now. We'll be back later. I hope you guys had a good day so far. Appreciate the support. Hit that like button. Make sure you tell your enemies to subscribe. I like the people that don't like me because I'll make them like me. How you doing? Have a good rest of your day. Appreciate the support. We'll be live a little later. Take care and, smash that like button.